Dangers in the ocean and seas are obvious, but few people realize how terrifying ordinary ponds, lakes, or rivers can be. Amoeba living in there can eat your brains. Underwater quicksand can trap you. It doesn't even have to be a body of water. Even your average bottle of drinking water can ruin your health. All because of these smelly, blooming algae. They can be blue-green, red, or brown. Touch them, and it can be your last day. Many algae species are toxic to humans and animals. These green buddies are cyanobacteria, and they can form harmful algae blooms. This bacteria can perform photosynthesis, and some of its species are capable of producing dangerous cyanotoxins. People can accidentally ingest these substances while swimming, inhale their vapors, or eat fish caught in contaminated waters. Algae toxins are so widespread that even a water you drink every day can have them. Although bottled water from a supermarket is much safer. According to estimates, 30 to 48 million Americans receive drinking water from lakes and reservoirs that may periodically be polluted with cyanobacteria. In such cases, the algae can cause serious problems to health, depending on the class of cyanotoxins. It can cause skin irritation, liver damage, respiratory problems, and more. Also, take care of your pets. Dogs, for example, are very sensitive to the effects of blooming algae. Almost any water source contains phosphorus, nitrogen, and other substances necessary for the growth of plants, algae, and microorganisms. This is completely natural and essential for maintaining life in aquatic ecosystems. But when there's too much of these substances, they pollute the water and promote the growth of bad algae and bacteria. This often happens near cities and rural areas when streams of polluted liquids enter open bodies of water. Warm water temperatures encourage the growth of cyanobacteria. They begin to multiply and absorb more sunlight, making the water even warmer and accelerating algal growth. It doesn't mean that it's only algae you should steer clear of. Water currents pose a serious threat to people too. And yet again, you can encounter this phenomenon not only in seas and oceans, but also in large lakes. For example, it can easily happen in the Great Lakes. The currents in these lakes form in various natural conditions. A combination of strong winds, uneven bottoms, beach slopes, waves, and other factors create dangerous water currents that may be invisible on the surface. But if you get caught in one, escaping won't be easy. Some currents can exceed a speed of 5 miles per hour. That's faster than the speed of an Olympic swimmer. There are different types of dangerous currents, but let's look at rip currents. These occur when water gets trapped in a small pocket between a shallow and a beach. The water accumulates there and has nowhere to go. More and more water gets into the gap. Pressure builds up, and at some point, the water breaks through a narrow path, flowing out in a powerful stream. If you get caught in this stream, it will carry you out into the lake. To escape, you need to swim sideways. There are also dangerous currents that run along the shore. You swim forward a bit and the current starts carrying you sideways. In this case, you need to swim diagonally towards the shore while moving with the current. But one of the most dangerous, if not the most dangerous things in water is underwater quicksand. If you get stuck, you're in big trouble, because the more you struggle, the more the quicksand restricts your movements. When the water from a natural source, such as an artesian spring, rises and disrupts the riverbed, it creates a loose and dense mixture at the bottom that becomes a real trap. This mixture is too loose to support your weight, but too dense to let you escape. This danger can also lurk in stagnant waters, where an upwelling from underground springs occurs. Besides underwater locations, quicksand is most commonly found near coastlines, in swamps, and close to riverbanks. To understand how to escape from quicksand, let's find out how it works. Quicksand is a mix of water and dense material, sand, silt, or clay. This combination creates a surface that looks solid but collapses under weight or vibration. The solid part of quicksand makes up most of its mass, but the water creates space between the dense particles. When this viscous substance encounters external stress, it changes its viscosity and acts like a gel. When you step into it, the density of this gel decreases and you start sinking. The sand around your feet collapses and tightens. The more you move, the longer the mixture remains liquid, while the sand particles compress around you more tightly. In movies, we often see quicksand completely swallowing a person, but in reality, it works differently. You sink into quicksand up to your waist at most, but you can't get out. If you're stuck in quicksand near a riverbank, there's a danger that the tide will rise and the water will flood the area. You also risk losing body heat or experiencing breathing difficulties. There are many problems, but only two solutions. The first is to call for help, but if no one's around, you must try to escape the sand with very slow, smooth movements. The more you move, the lower your chances of success. The first thing you should do is calm down. The more you panic, the more unnecessary movements you make. Then try to lean back or forward and slowly move your legs as if attempting to swim. The less weight and pressure you exert on the sand, the freer your movements will be. This means you need to shift your weight from one spot and distribute it evenly across the surface around you. No sudden movements. If you reach solid ground, sit on it and then slowly pull your legs out of the quicksand. If you're far from land, slowly swim toward it and call for help. And now, the scariest danger some bodies of water hide. In some of them, there are amoebas that can eat your brain. They are literally called brain-eating amoebas. Scientists first discovered these amoebas in the 1960s in Australia after people were hospitalized with an unusual form of meningitis. But currently, the largest number of infections are recorded in the United States. However, only American scientists track cases of this infection. It's possible that in other countries, where such records aren't kept, people suffer from these amoebas much more often. The chances of surviving an encounter with them are about 3 to 5%. Brain-eating amoebas live in warm freshwater and soil. Salt water or water disinfected with chlorine is unsuitable for these creatures. Unlike toxic algae, brain-eating amoebas can't harm you if you swallow them. They infect the human brain exclusively through the nasal passages. When water enters the nose, the amoeba penetrates the nasal tissue, moving to the brain, and attacks the central nervous system. The first symptoms infected people feel are headaches, fever, neck stiffness, and nausea. The infection can develop within several days, but the more time passes, the worse the condition of the infected person becomes. If you feel something similar after swimming in fresh water, seek medical attention immediately. The chances of recovery are slim, but it's worth fighting for. Moreover, there have been cases where prompt medical help saved a person. It's impossible to detect the presence of these amoebas. If you're unsure but really want to swim in a lake, try not to dive. In this case, the amoebas won't have a chance to infect you. The main thing is to prevent the water from entering your nose. Even if you want to swim in a pool, make sure the water is well disinfected. But no matter how paranoid you get after this video, let's calm down a bit. There are not many cases of infection in the world that involve brain-eating amoeba. The chances of getting it into your nose are quite low. You're not always afraid of being attacked by a shark when you swim in the sea, are you? But still, be careful.
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.